Okay, this is my third attempt at trying to put this video together because it has a lot of moving parts, what I want to talk about. So first of all, I am Cosette Dunn. I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am a local realtor, and I am in the process of finishing my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I will pursue my master's in counseling after that. So I have a background of extreme and frequent trauma in my childhood, in my adolescence, and then into my young adulthood when I got married. It was very traumatic. So it's just been sort of this unrelenting, frequent kind of a thing. But besides all that, I've always, since I was a child, wanted to understand why people do what they do, why they think the way that they think. I can remember being a very small child and having these questions, okay? So the next thing I want to tell you is I have a blog on WordPress. You can find it at wordpress.com/cosettedunn.wordpress.com. The name of my blog is The Catalyst. I also have a YouTube channel, and that's called Cosette, Cozett, Contemplates. And that's just where I like to think out loud. I interview people who are doing some amazing things with our world. And anyway, it's just a really interesting, good channel. But anyway, on Cosette Contemplates, when I'm talking about philosophical or religious or spiritual stuff, I'm there just to think out loud and to invite you to think through the subjects that I'm talking about with me, because I find them endlessly fascinating. And I have a helper, people pleaser kind of a personality, which I'm working on the people pleasing part. But anyway, just wanted to let you all know what is kind of crossed my path here in the last week that I just desperately want to put together a video for, and just kind of hear your thoughts and hear your experiences as well. So first I want to tell you that I am reading this book, The Ideas of Rene Girard. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Edited by David Cayley, and here are some other contributors. This book is like sort of like an interview of Rene, and sort of like a survey of his ideas about religion and violence, and the purpose of religion and how it serves humanity to a certain degree. And then he's just got some really interesting points. So anyway, now let me jump topics, but I'm going to tie these two together. The next thing is I have been watching a TikTok channel that is so amazing, and I highly recommend you check out. The TikTok is called @SystemSpouse, and this is a woman and her husband, and he has DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder, and she is a very brave soul. She is sharing her everyday kind of family life for the whole world to see. And there are moments when it's very inspiring, it's very encouraging, it's just makes you stand in awe at the human psyche. But then there are hard parts that are hard to watch, and she tells you that. But even as an aspiring psychology student, counselor. This is my first exposure to seeing someone with DID. And so I just really felt her videos resonate in my spirit, and I just really wanted to look more into it. Okay, so now I promised you that I would fuse these two things together. Okay, let's go back to this book. Okay, so if you are familiar with the term DID, dissociative identity disorder, or if you or someone you know has schizophrenia with hallucinations, whether they're auditory or visual, or I think that you'll find this interesting, and I kind of want to know your thoughts on it. So, firstly, in this interview, this is on page 13, and I guess this is David Cayley making this statement. He's basically summarizing what Rene Girard means when he talks about mimesis. So I'm just going to jump in. Another radical and potentially unfamiliar aspect of Girard's theory is its conception of the self. So if you've ever taken a psych class, when you hear that, you're probably immediately going to be thinking about all the different psychologists and their theories and their concepts of self. And so he says the huge emphasis placed on choice and decision in our world tends to make us think of the self as something free and sovereign. Okay, think about that for a minute. Do I think of myself as free and sovereign? Do you? Okay. But if Girard is right, the self is more like an unruly crowd than a serene sovereign. That was big to me because I immediately thought, that sounds like the id. That sounds like the id to me. The unruly crowd, that totally sounds like the id, and it almost seems like that would play a part in perhaps DID or schizophrenia. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm just a student, okay? So please have mercy on me and educate me, okay? Because I'm trying really hard. So I just thought, okay, I wonder if in DID, and I wonder if in schizophrenia, if some aspects and some components of that is sort of like the id. Okay, don't really know how to expound from there, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I just thought it was interesting that he referred to the self as more of an unruly crowd. Okay. And then I got to thinking about neurodivergence. Okay. I consider myself a neurotypical person, but I'm understanding and learning more and more about neurodivergence and how important it is to make sure that people who are neurodivergent feel that they have a place in society. That's extremely important, and that's one of the most beautiful things I've seen on that TikTok of at System Spouse. I know these are like 30-second, 60-second clips on there, so it looks so much easier than what it actually is. But just the love and the commitment from his wife, because she's committed to all the different personalities, the alters. And I know that has to be hard, but it's also really just awe-inspiring. But I love the way that all of his alters, I think they feel like they have a place, that they're respected, that they're loved, that they are acknowledged. I heard her say that one of them was considering trying to integrate or go dormant. So these alters actually can make decisions where, if they want to be front and they want to be a presenting personality, then they can, or they can decide to go dormant, or they can decide to disappear. It's just really a lot to take in. It's a lot. So I can imagine, how she has adjusted to that. But so then I started thinking about this. Now check this out. This is something I started thinking tonight, and I was like, I have to do another Cosette Contemplates video for this, okay? You can probably hear my cats being crazy. That's Talia. You know how cats are. When it starts getting late at night, they get really crazy. Okay, so anyway, I started thinking, okay, so the unruly crowd reminds me of the id. And then I started thinking about the different alters or the hallucinations, or because they are entities in and of themselves. And that is how identity is spelled. Id, entity. I mean, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? For some reason, that just really struck me. And so I thought I'd come on and do a video about that. I have tons more to say, but I don't have a lot of time to do it. So I just kind of wanted to put this chunk out there and, just kind of see if you all will contemplate this with me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences. And just always know that I'm also here to always encourage and, try to support as I have time. But, yeah, so check it out. I'm probably going to post this since it's so long. I'm just going to go ahead and post it on my Cosette Contemplates YouTube channel. So if you're watching this from my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please hit like. Please turn on all notifications. That would really help because I'm trying to build, a quality, encouraging, enlightening, wonderful community on here with the Cosette Contemplates community. I have a lot to say, and you have a lot of experiences, and I just want the world to see what's going on, in my little cul-de-sac here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I want to make a difference from where I'm at. Okay? All right. Well, I appreciate you all so much. And I will talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Okay? Bye.